Hi, everyone, and welcome to Small Town Big Business, a podcast about doing big business in small towns. I'm your co-host for today, Deb Barnett. I'm also the executive director for Southern Illinois Now.
And I'm Russ Williams. I'm director of Ethos. We're a small business incubator, co-working spaces, training and development here in downtown Marion, Illinois. You are joining us here at the Citadel Building, historic building here on Tower Square Plaza. And we also want to thank our sponsors for making the Small Town Big Business podcast possible. And thank you to Arcadia Wealth Group, Banterra Bank, Black Diamond Harley Davidson and RV, Fowler Heating and Cooling, the Southern Illinois Now, Swinford Media Group, Union Street Arts, and of course the Watermark Auto Group Foundation.
If you're new to Small Town Big Business, we interview small business owners and founders about how and why they're successful in small towns throughout Southern Illinois, and in this case, right here in Marion, Illinois. Very, very excited to welcome today Tyler and Emily Dihle with Dihle Law Firm.
Great to be here.
Yeah, so great to see you both. We're going to jump into a lot of things about the law firm today, how it got started, that sort of thing. But let's start by saying, did you both grow up in Southern Illinois? How did you find Southern Illinois? Tell us about that story.
Okay, so you want me to start first? I'll go first. I actually grew up in North Dakota. You could see Canada from my house. I was about 10 miles from Canada, but we moved to Central Illinois, a small town by Macomb, where Western Illinois University is. And that's where I met Emily. We didn't go to the same high school, but we were high school sweethearts.
Okay,
nearby.
So way back. Okay.
And we both went to college at Monmouth College in Illinois, which is up by the Quad Cities. It's still up there. And then I got accepted to law school at SIU, and we moved down here. And basically bothered the news director at Channel 3 until he agreed to hire her. I'll let you take it from there.
My degree is in broadcasting, so it was just like, where can I make this work down here? And we're living in Carbondale. I'm thinking maybe Channel 3. And all over the course of the summer, I was contacting and trying to kind of get my foot in the door somehow, but there just really wasn't a good opening that was entry level for a kid just out of college. And I eventually just said, if I can wipe the floors there, just, I will help in any way I can. And Mike Snuffer, the news director at the time, said, come on in, we'll talk to you. And I got to get going as an associate producer. So doing a lot of the camera work during
behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes.
I didn't know that's how you started.
Work during the newscasts and editing video that would air on the news. And that lasted for a couple of weeks. And then lo and behold, hey, there's been a shooting somewhere. There've been like lots of little spot news started to come up that they just needed somebody to jump in for. And that's what I really wanted to be doing and got to start doing that. So a couple of years of reporting and weekend anchoring led into 4 years of the morning show. And I absolutely loved that. I did that with Kevin Huntsberger. And
we loved you on the morning show.
Thank you so much. It was a really great team, and you form quite a bond with people at that hour of the day when everybody rolls in at like 2 a.m. But that was a lot of fun. And the undercurrent throughout all that, I did YouTube as well. So I started my YouTube channel in late 2007. It's just kind of my extracurricular activity, my creative outlet sort of during this time. And it was all like kind of beauty, makeup focused. That's sort of my hobby. And I've continued that. That's been the constant in our lives from late 2007, still happening, 3 videos a week now.
So. Wow. So you're no stranger to all of this, podcasting, YouTubing, the whole thing.
Kinda, yeah. I'm just kind of used to getting up dark and early in the morning and just talking to my one camera. So this is a little different, more fun, really.
Yeah. I'm always amazed at, you said you attended SIU Law School.
Yes.
So Southern Illinois University, Carbondale, for those who may not know. I'm always amazed at how the university not only draws students in, but then it just keeps them here. Like, students then call this home, and Southern Illinois becomes home for them. And so it sounds like that's the case with you as well.
That's absolutely what happened. We just kind of fell in love with Southern Illinois, and we stuck. you're not getting rid of us anytime soon.
Yeah, good.
We don't have any other. Well, her parents have now moved down here as well, but we didn't come here because we had family or any connections. We just moved down here and just really loved it, and it's going to be our home, I think.
And it became family and became those connections.
Exactly.
Now, your family's from Northern Illinois, or?
Yeah, kind of the west central Illinois area near Macomb,
Okay.
where he ended up coming to high school. That was where we met, and that's where my family's all
Okay,
from.
great. And after you graduated from SIU law school, what did you do next?
So I worked for a medical malpractice defense firm. It was a satellite office for a firm out of St. Louis. So it was kind of like a big firm, but we only had about 3 attorneys in our office. So I worked there for a little bit and didn't love the defense side of things. So I've now shifted more to representing injured people, injured workers, and people in tragic accidents and things like that.
Okay. And how long has the Dihle Law Firm been around?
Not very long.
Yeah.
We officially opened on July 1st of this year of 2024. I've been doing that kind of work for over a decade now, but with different firms. I've worked with some of the best firms in Southern Illinois, Marion, West Frankfort, just as an employee, and it just started to seem like time for me to go out on my own and run my own practice.
What do you love about it now?
I get to help people every day. So the people that I represent are either out of work because they got hurt, either at work or in a car accident or something like that, and they cannot. It's just not something that they can handle on their own. They need my help, and I get to see. I get to improve their lives in some way. Like every day, that's basically what I get to do. So it really it is very fulfilling work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you said earlier you were in West Frankfort. The firm was in West Frankfort? Or?
Yeah, I work for Sam Mitchell and Associates
yeah, of
in
course,
West
yeah.
Frankfort. It's without a doubt one of the best personal injury firms in our area, and I loved working there. But there's just something to be said about working for yourself.
So tell me about that and about that decision to go out on your own, because my husband and I, he's an electrician by trade. He's retired now and was in the trade for years and years. And we had a similar conversation, it sounds like, where he thought he needed to go out on his own and have his own electrical contracting company. And we did that for 10 years, and we sold that after 10 years. And it was a wonderful time. I always say, there are pros and cons, and especially couples that work together. I say there needs to be a support group for those of us who work together, certainly. But that conversation with Mike and I it was exciting, it was scary, it was all of those things. And I'm sure there are listeners that might be in that same boat or are thinking about starting their own business, going out on their own in whatever way. So talk about that conversation that you all had and how that got started.
Yeah, exciting and terrifying is something I said many times when I was making the decision, because it is exciting and rewarding and a lot of things, but it's also terrifying because I'm the only attorney in my office, and I have nobody to fall back on for certain things. I obviously have a wonderful, supportive wife. I've got an assistant that does a great job, but there are things that only I can do legally. Like I can't send somebody else to court. Em can't show up in court. She might actually do a better job than I do if she did.
And I couldn't go wire a house.
Yeah. It would be a misdemeanor if she showed up to court for me. But so it's there's all that. There's the administrative things that it was nice that somebody else handled that one, and I could just be a lawyer before, whereas now I've got to be a lawyer and I've got to be a manager and all of that. So it's a lot of work, but I really am happy with the decision I made because I get to control how things go. I don't have to answer to anybody, and get to serve the clients the way I want to serve them.
Yeah. Well, even though you might be the only one that can do the job, I'm sure there's occasions where you call somebody. So like the lifeline.
Absolutely. All the personal injury attorneys and work comp attorneys in Southern Illinois were technically competitors, but it's really a community. I have probably 10 people I can call at any given time and ask advice, and we work together, and it's really not a cutthroat type situation. So I have mentors. I've got friends.
Who are some of those mentors? Can you name them?
Yeah, so Mark Prince. I used to work for him. When was that?
Prior to the Sam C. Mitchell.
Yeah, prior to Sam C. Mitchell, I worked for Mark Prince. He is one of my best friends and still a mentor. I had lunch with him yesterday, and we still even work together on cases, despite being in different offices. Matt Caraway and Lance Brown at Sam Mitchell. I talk to them all the time, and we kick around issues. I'm trying to think of there are so many. Jonathan Cantrell. He used to work in Marion. He's a partner at Hart Cantrell in Benton now. He still lives in Marion. I call those guys all the time. They might get sick of me, but it's in the same way they'll call me and ask me questions too. So it's really a great community. The legal community in Southern Illinois is fantastic. It doesn't feel like we're fighting about anything.
Mm-hmm. It's so great that there is a strong community, and I can tell that the two of you really support one another. So, Emily, what is your role in the company, and how did all of that come about?
Yeah, well, once he decided that he wanted to go out on his own, the next thought for me becomes, how do we tell the world about what he's up to and get out there and build some awareness for what he's doing? And I am no pro at marketing by any means, but I do know how to work some of the social media. That's where, that's kind of my wheelhouse as far as YouTube and all that. But I just wanted to be able to really show him as the person he is in a very transparent, very authentic way, so people could get to know him, because to know Tyler is to know a person who will drop anything to help anyone. I mean, just last week, a cat shows up to our backyard. He's feeding. I mean, he's just that kind of person. He will help anyone. And what I hoped to show was just him as a real human being he is, not just the lawyer who is sitting here to take your case. And so we wanted to do videos that felt very just casual, really.
And authentic.
Yes. And so we've done that, trying to be on all platforms to, just when we have an idea, we might be in the kitchen and we'll pop open the phone and we'll talk about it. If it's something that came to his mind that he thought this is really going to help clients out to know this little fact, or we just had a case and it brought about this idea. And we've been really, doing some of that. We've been we have our weekly Woodworking Wednesday giveaway. That's a whole other facet of his life is woodworking. And we've just, tried to really make it a real life thing, because a person's not just going to be like, oh, hey, I like that guy, I'm going to call him up to be my lawyer, because there has to be a need. And our hope is just when that need arises that he will be the person thought of, And
I think that's so great, because so many times business owners, I think, really focus in on just their product or just their service. And I'm of the opinion that, yes, you have to have a good product or service, but people are really drawn to the people behind those products and services and their stories. I've seen your social media. I think you do a fabulous job at really taking us behind the scenes to get to know Tyler, your family. I think there was one where you all were on vacation and Tyler was working and just kind of explaining how you set that up intentionally as a one-person company to be able to work wherever you were at. So I think those things are really important. Any other tips, tools, tricks besides having everything in the cloud and all of those things, or anything that you want to share that might be applicable to some other business owners?
Before that, let me say she's being a little too humble.
Okay.
She said she doesn't know that much about marketing, but
I was going to say the same thing when she said process. I would disagree.
I'm very lucky for a lot of reasons to be married to her, but specific to today, I happen to be married to one of the best social media people in the world. Like, not just Southern Illinois,
There you go.
She's like one of the best in the world.
That's very nice, but
It's also true.
She does a great
You don't
job.
have to say. You don't have to
No,
agree. You just stay being hopeful.
No.
But it is true, and a lot of what we're doing on Facebook was her vision, and with I guess just with TikTok, Instagram, all
Yeah,
this, all
some
this stuff.
scary areas, right?
She does all.
don't know.
She puts it all out there, but it really is with legal marketing. You get kind of two spectrums. You get the hey, look at me, I'm the Texas Hammer. I don't know if you've ever watched those on YouTube. But search the Texas Hammer, or no, the Texas Law Hawk. I'm sorry.
Okay.
There's the
So kind of an authority approach there. Like, I'm tough. I'm tough.
It's just
like
out there,
brash.
really extreme, brash, or you have the just very boring. Here I am at my desk, and I've got an assistant looking at me. She's handing me a file. I'm signing it, and we just didn't want to do that. Ours was get to know the person you're going to hire, because with the way that she's doing things for us, you can get on our Facebook page, look at those videos, and you're going to know who I am before you ever step in the door.
Okay.
I just think people crave realness these days. I mean, there's, you put up a picture, there's a filter on something. You wonder, is the person I'm seeing online the same as the person, interacting with friends and family? And I wanted to just make it real and make it very honest.
Yeah.
So.
So can real business owners do that? I mean, is it?
Yeah, I think it's kind of a challenge sometimes to be vulnerable, to just be free to talk about, whatever the issue at hand might be. I mean, in doing my own videos with what I do, I mean, if I'm having a rough day, I've cried on camera. My subscribers, we're a family, we are a community. And I just think that any person in any line of work can really kind of try to let their guard down, stop seeing themselves in their role, and start thinking of themselves as a person and how they can relate to others, just as in a human sense.
And that kind of circles back to what your question is. If you're a business owner, let people know you. Let them know your faults. Everybody's got faults. Nobody's going to judge you for it. Don't be scared about just putting yourself completely out there, because I think people don't go to a sign; they go to a person a lot of times. And if they feel like that's a person that I like and it's a person that I trust, that's who they're going to deal with.
Yeah. Okay, so in your own right, you have a popular YouTube channel. The name of it is?
Yeah, it's Beauty Broadcast. My name is, back when we had to just create a username, it was Emily Noel. That's my middle name, 83. That's what you could look up on YouTube. And I've got about approaching 1 million subscribers on there. And I'm very grateful for the people who tune in several times a week to watch.
And what's your focus on there?
Focus is beauty related content and doing a lot of reviews, actually, unbiased reviews. I don't accept any sponsorships because I've felt like from the get-go, it does not make sense to accept payment from a company when, and like they're paying you to give a positive review on something, then who can trust you? I mean, who can really believe anything you're saying? So I always wanted to be very transparent about it from the start, and that's the way I've stayed on my channel. The money I make is through the ad revenue. So there's a partner program on YouTube where you can, make some money simply through the ads shown. And so that's what I do, and that's what I've been doing for a long time. It feels like.
Well, how many years? Because it's been around for a long time.
So it started in late 2007 and still going today. So that's about 15 years or so. So it's, and I really haven't taken any significant breaks. I've had 3 kids along the way and taken, maybe a week off.
Yeah.
But it really, what I've found is it's the kind of thing that can be kind of mushed in around daily life. I wake up really early to shoot a video when it's quiet in my house, and I'll edit during nap time. That's kind of how it works. So I enjoy it.
What I'm impressed with about her, well, there's a lot of things, but with this specific topic, she started doing this before you could even make money on YouTube. Like, YouTube did not have an ad sharing program. When she started doing it, she did it because it's something she loves, and still
when it first started coming out. And I think the question was like, why? Why is she doing? Because she was leading, and that's what, pioneers do. And people say they want to know more, but they don't know fine.
Yeah. Yeah, it just kind of, I had been exposed to, a few videos where I'm watching these makeup artists doing these things that, I just taken an interest in makeup ever since the Avon lady came and sold it to my mom. And I'm like, there's just something about it that clicked with me at that time. And I never have considered myself an expert on that level, but I do just love to share my journey with it, share my honest reviews, and focus on a lot of products that you're just going to buy, at Walmart, Walgreens, somewhere, not all of the necessarily extremely high priced products, but things that the everyday person is going to be interested in knowing about, because saving money is important on any level. So that's been my core I feel.
So 2 questions. Who do you follow in order to get better at what you do? And then I'm sure people are contacting you saying, Emily, what can I do next? Who are those people?
Gosh, I mean, there are a lot of people who are kind of in my realm, who do beauty related content, but I also keep an eye on a lot of, I still love watching news. I love watching broadcasters and the way they do things. I like watching people who interview and the way they carry those things off. And I just, that's really been kind of the inspiring thing, is just, I've never really gotten too far from that world that I started in, which was news. So, yeah.
So whether it's marketing for Dihle Law Firm, whether it's your own YouTube channel, I think you got people's attention when you said 1 million subscribers. And that could be a whole other podcast or workshop.
I've got an idea already.
That's right. And I'm sure that didn't happen overnight.
It did not.
But any tips that you can get, I ensured that consistency, also helped.
You said it. That's exactly it. I think you've got to be consistent with it, even in times like when I started my channel purely for fun. I was just doing it several times a week just because I liked it. I needed that, a different thing to do outside of news, which could be very serious, some of the things I covered to this day, I think about them and I honestly want to cry, because you watch the news one evening and it's heavy. And what I needed was something to just put my passion into and enjoy and bond with other people. Didn't know a lot of people in Southern Illinois at that time. And I enjoy it so much. I would say consistently making videos, and then people will find and connect. And one of the greatest things that I can do, and probably the reason I've never stopped, is because somebody will log on and say, thank you so much for posting, I'm undergoing my cancer treatments right now, and you are a constant in my life over this many years, and something they can turn on. And I guess people talk about comfort YouTubers, and maybe that's what I've become in a sense, but I think now I would never want to quit if somebody is seeing that kind of advantage.
But you're building relationships.
Yes.
Which real what you're doing at a law firm too.
This is for real people. But her authenticity on YouTube, I think, is what has really kept things going for so long. Because a lot of the people on YouTube, they're just trying to cause drama,
There's a character in a sense.
take a fight, do all kinds of stuff just to get to be compelling and get a bunch of likes to go viral. And she has always just been steady. She's got a calming voice. And so the people that follow her are fiercely loyal.
Yeah. Let's talk about that too. I think each one of us have steady things in our lives and keep us grounded. What are those things for you two?
It's her.
I do think it's important for everybody to have something outside of their work that feels just good and feels like an outlet. And fortunately, in a strange way, YouTube has been able to be both for me. Like, as it started as a hobby, became something I made money at, but still feels very, I do it. I get up at 4:30 in the morning because I want to. I love it. I love doing it. And like for him, he goes down to his wood shop. He may disappear for part of a Saturday, but I know that's feeding him in another way. So I think everybody has to, don't discount the value of just the thing that maybe it's not making money, or maybe it is, but if it really feels like that creative outlet or that just good for your soul kind of thing to be doing, I think you need to find it,
it's kind of funny. I grew up on farm, did manual labor my whole life. Even through college, I was working doing farming stuff. And at the time, the main reason I went to law school is that I wanted to not have to do that anymore. And just the fun irony is now my hobby is manual labor. But I do enjoy it. It's kind of like, it's almost like meditative. It's like a little bit of therapy kind of thing. You just can shut your brain off and just focus on a task like that. But we've kind of worked it into the law firm as well. And mentioned before, we do a weekly giveaway, Woodworking Wednesday. Usually it's something I make. This week that I kind of screwed my neck up, so I didn't make anything last weekend. So we give away a $50 Home Depot gift card, but I'm doing that, and people are loving it. And I make flags out of wood and blue line flags. I'm giving those away to local police departments. I like doing it. And we're selling them at locally provision. Shout out to them. Square Eater.
Cutting wood.
Oh, yeah. But I don't do it to make any kind of money. I have absolutely made $0 on it. And I spend more money than I make, but it's just, I like to do it anyway, so why not give it out to people?
What's one of those things when you went into business for yourself, you did not expect that you were going to have to learn how to do or handle? Well, I'm sure there's more than one. But what's been a great challenge that you've been able to accomplish there?
Oh, gosh.
Or maybe something you still struggle.
Outside the phone system.
That's what I was going to say. It's really just all that. It seemed like when I started it up, every little thing went wrong. Like we signed up for a brand new phone system, brand new phone number. It seems like you should just press play, it goes. And the phone service, we use Zoom, so I'm not hating on any local phone services. Maybe I should just use one of them, but you get the phone number set up, people would call in there, it would ask for an extension. We didn't have extensions. So they would hit the extension number and they all go, hit good. Worse than that, it would just hang up. Then if you call back, it says, for an operator, press 0. So you press 0, hangs up. And we got one phone call that came through, because if you didn't hit any buttons, it would eventually ring through. I think that person just must have dropped their phone or something. So we fixed that. The same thing with email and the website. It seems like something always falls through. You just gotta have a good attitude about it.
Yeah, to Christy. Christy is Kyler's kind of right-hand person there at the place, and I know she's helped a lot of the small things kind of get smoothed out, ironed out a little bit, so things can be functioning a little more normal.
No, she's fantastic. She is take care of a lot of that stuff, but it just seemed like every little thing that should have been easy became hard, and I don't know, but I think I'm all sorted out now. So
We have new law offices. Let's talk about your location.
yes. So we are in it's Roman Bassey's building, Heartland Realty, out by Ike Honda, west side of the interstate. Yep, just across from the airport, basically. On the south side of the airport. I think that is what we had her sign. Awesome. So now you can find it. I think for the first 2 months, it's Edward Jones.
Slightly confused. And what advice do you give people who need legal assistance, whether it's what you provide, whether it's something else for a business? It seems like that's sometimes a scary call to make, or what advice would you give to them?
Sure, it is scary, but a lot of attorneys have, me specifically, but most will do a free consultation with you. And doesn't matter what the issue is. I have people all the time that call in with an issue that I don't do personally, but I know somebody that does. And most attorneys are that way. If they can't do it, they know who can, and they can tell you who to go to. It's not something to be scared of. you can talk to somebody and find out what you need to do before you got to even pay any money. And luckily for me, most of the work I do, they don't have to pay until the case is done. So won't it cost you a dime to talk to me?
So just pick up the phone, make the call.
No, don't be scared. Yeah, I mean, call me. I'll tell you you need to talk to if I can't do it.
That's good. Yeah. Well, I always have a final question that I'd love to ask, but is there anything that we missed that you all want to talk about or?
I mean, I would just like to say a thank you to all of the awesome clients that have, shown so much support so far. I mean, there were people who, when he kind of announced, hey, I'm going out on my own, the people who said, oh, I'm there, I'm there with you and happy to support. And so that's been really awesome to see. And and thank you to you all for welcoming us in. And I mean, I know we're new, but to care to speak with us, that's really amazing. So thanks.
When we started, our mission statement was clients first. I stole that. I don't know if you guys have seen the Savannah Bananas. They say fam first. So I definitely stole it from that. That's the principle. I so afraid. But I mean, I care very deeply about my clients. I think I posted not that long ago that I had clients that have become friends and friends that have become clients, and that helps a lot. If people know they care about, you care about them, that helps, and I can't help but care.
Yeah.
It's just. I don't know, in my DNA or something like that, I guess.
So I think that's a great segue into the question that I always love to ask, and you may have hit on it a little bit, is what is your why? What gets you out of bed every day? Gets you going every day?
It's helping people. It is. I will tell on myself a little bit. When I went to law school, it was out of greed almost. It was here's a way I can get a job where I can make good money and not have to work in a cornfield. And so sometimes you can do things for the wrong reasons, then find the right reasons. And so I realized after, several years in the business that what I like is being able to help people, because my clients are almost always at a very tough spot. They're out of work because they were in an accident. They had a work accident, they're not getting paid their time off and things like that. And I get to fix it.
Well, that's their livelihood. That's their family. That's their everything.
Absolutely. And sometimes they get hit and their car's not even being replaced. So they're out of work. They don't have a car. They're in pain and can't even get to the doctor. They're going to be calling people to get to the doctor. And then I get to help those folks. Can't make it right. You can't roll back time and get them back to where they were before, but at least get them what they're owed, what they deserve.
Excellent. Well, Tyler and Emily Dihle, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks.
This is I don't usually talk this much, so.
You did nice. No, I met you because you were out networking, right? You were out.
You might have spoken at Rotary one time.
Yeah. So don't you cut yourself short. He's out there. Yeah. He's out to talk.
Find it.
Yeah. That's a Dihle Law Firm, and that's websites, Dihle Law Firm.
DihleLawFirm.com.
And then social media also, Dihle Law Firm. Yes. And if you call, you will get an answer.
The phones do work again.
And the sign is up.
That was about 2 hours on the phone with Zoom to fast hour.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Appreciate
you having me.
Yeah, and we want to thank our viewers for watching the Small Town Big Business podcast. You can go to ethosmarion.org and see all 101 episodes. And we want to thank our sponsors, Arcadia Wealth Group, Bad Terra Bank, Light Diamond Harley Davidson and RV, Power Heating and Cooling, Southern Illinois Now, Swinford Media Group, Union Street Arts, and of course the Watermark Auto Group Foundation.
I'm your co-host, Deb Barnett. I'm also with Southern Illinois Now. You can find us at southernillinoisnow.org.
And I'm Russell Williams, Director of Ethos. You can find us at ethosmarion.org. Thanks for joining us.
Have a great day.